What's up guys, it's Anabolic Rage and today's video is going to be about testosterone. So testosterone is known as the male hormone, but it is produced both in males in the testes and in females in the ovaries. However, in females to a much lesser extent. Females can also avail of a different source of testosterone from DHEA, dihydroepiandrosterone. Yeah, I know it's a tongue twister and a half, but just remember DHEA. And that's by converting DHEA into testosterone. It's a neurosteroid, but for them, they can use it as a source of testosterone since their overall testosterone level is so low anyways. And even though it is at such a low amount in females, it is still present because it does carry out some physiological functions. It's much less relevant than for men, but it still has its importance. Now let's have a look at how the body produces and regulates testosterone. So it starts off in the brain, and it comes from a combination of two glands, the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. And the latter is actually split into two parts, the posterior pituitary gland and the anterior pituitary gland. But for the sake of this video, we'll just focus on the anterior pituitary gland. So your brain, so the hypothalamus in the brain is going to release a hormone called GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, which then will stimulate your anterior pituitary gland to release luteinizing hormone, LH, and follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. Now these will stimulate your gonads to produce their respective hormones. So for women, it will be estrogen and progesterone, and to a much lesser extent, testosterone. And for men, of course, it will be purely testosterone. Well, I think there's also a little bit of estrogen being produced, but it's almost negligible. Most of the estrogen for men is actually produced by the conversion of testosterone into estrogen via an enzyme called aromatase. It gets aromatized into estrogen. So as LH acts on the testes, but more specifically on the Leydig cells of the testes. There are two main types of cells in the testes, the Leydig cells and the Sertoli cells, but here we're going to focus on the Leydig cells. So LH is going to come and bind on the LHCG receptor, the luteinizing hormone chronoid gonadotropin receptor, and then the Leydig cells will produce testosterone. So what happens if your testosterone is too high or if it's too low, and how does your body keep it in homeostasis? Let's have a look. It's actually not that complicated. If testosterone is really high, the process by which the body is going to keep it in range is that testosterone will bind to a receptor, and that receptor is called an androgen receptor. Now, androgen receptors are spread throughout the whole body in many different tissues, but it's also found in the brain, and here more importantly on the pituitary gland. So, as testosterone binds to the androgen receptor on the pituitary gland, it signals to the pituitary gland, we have testosterone, that's it, we don't need any more. Thank you very much. We don't need to release any more LH and FSH, and we don't need to produce more testosterone. Same thing on the hypothalamus, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I think there's also some androgen receptors there, so less GnRH being made as well. Now, this is called a negative feedback mechanism. It means if I have too much, the body is smart, it's going to regulate itself, we won't produce any more. And this is through the HPTA, so the hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis, or for women, the HPOA, the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. Now, what happens when testosterone is too low? So when it's too low, same concept the other way around. Now, the androgen receptor is not bound, it is vacant, and the pituitary has no restriction. It has no one telling it, we have enough, produce less. So it just goes ahead and it does its thing, which is release LH and FSH. And then testosterone should go back up. Now, what are the benefits of testosterone? So first off, you've definitely heard of it, libido. If your testosterone is high, you will want to get active in the bedroom with your significant other. And if your testosterone is low, well, you usually won't want to get active with your partner in the bedroom. And there might be other reasons than testosterone, but that'd be a good first marker to check if you have low libido, you have libido issues or erectile dysfunction or whatever it might be. Next thing, your mood and your cognition. Amazing, has amazing effects on your mood and cognition actually, and your energy levels. If your testosterone is high, the signs of high testosterone is going to be being in a good mood, like most of the time, great cognition, being able to process information well, store information well, regurgitate information well. So it's very nice. And usually when you have low testosterone levels, you get this brain fog, so it becomes quite challenging to be cognitively performant. And then, of course, energy levels, you have more energy when you have high test. It's just how it is. You be more willing to undertake things, you have more motivation, just life quality will be better, it will be enhanced. Now, this is not very relevant to most people in everyday life, but it does improve your bone mineral density, and that's really seen in studies with people with osteoporosis. So if you have low testosterone as you get older, that could be an issue, you get brittle bone. But if you're young, usually that's not really something that applies to you. But look, if you have high testosterone, you're gonna have strong bones. So win-win. And now, the best for the end, muscle mass and strength. Well, yes, high testosterone builds muscle, and with muscle comes strength. That's just how it is. The process, I won't get into too much detail, but basically testosterone binds to androgen receptors on your muscle cells, and then it gets translocated to the nucleus, where then it will bind a specific gene and it will activate DNA transcription and translation, and you're going to get muscle protein synthesis. So you're going to get more of that nice muscle protein produced. Your muscles are going to get bigger. And now, what you guys are probably wondering is, how do I get more of this good stuff? Because this sounds fucking amazing, you know? But get to know about this in the next video. So stay tuned, leave a like, leave a comment, and Anabolic Rage out.